I'm confident that this year's team will have learned a lot from our playoff run last year. And one of our concerns coming off of last year's season was that there was going to be a little bit of a lingering effect into this year. And I give our guys credit; they've really put it to rest, and they've focused on the 2010 year quickly. Last year's team had a lot of veterans in a lot of different positions, especially at the midfield, and we're just learning that we have to go back as a coaching staff and as a team to some of the basics. And we got a lot of things to do in February. February 1st will be our first official practice, but it's been a eager group. It's been a very hard-working group. We just got to hope we grow up very quickly because we got a very tough schedule early going, and we got to make sure we do a good job of getting these guys up to speed. One of the things that we won't have is we won't have veteran leadership, but we're going to have to get some form of leadership there. And Roy Lang is a sophomore that played a lot of lacrosse for us, a lot of very important lacrosse for us there last year as a defensive mid. He was a short stick defensive midfielder. He played a little bit of offense when he went from defense into the offensive end in transition, and he stayed intermittently throughout the course of the season when it was to our advantage. But he's kind of learning that role, offensive role. He'll be teamed up probably with Chris Ritchie, who played on the second midfield line for us last year, started as a sophomore attackman. So hopefully his experience will rub off a little bit on Roy and provide a little maturity at the midfield. Ross Gillum is a freshman from Texas who's done a great job this year. Chris Langton is a sophomore midi from the New England area who's done a great job for us this year. John Thompson was on the second midfield line last year, has done a good job for us. So I think there's probably a group of 5 or 6 guys that are going to be battling for that, to round out that first midfield and to complete our second midfield and to provide the quality depth that we're so desperately going to need. With Rob Pennell and Ryan Hurley, you have a 1-2 punch that have played a lot of lacrosse, played a lot of quality minutes of lacrosse, but also have an understanding and a confidence and an ability to carry quite a bit of that offensive load that was departed with the graduation of Max Seaball, Rocco Romero, and John Glynn. Pierce Durgak is clearly our emotional leader and a guy that just plays with reckless abandon on the field, and he's going to be a guy that we look to at both ends of the field. Really, he does such a great job at wings and faceoffs. He'll cover our opponent's best player, best midi for sure, but possibly best player. And then Austin Boykin as a short stick defenseman, he's going to do a great job of coming back in the same role that he had last year. If it were not for him and his development and the way he came through the course of that season and developed into the kind of player that he was, we probably would not have had near the success that we had coming down the stretch. AJ Fiore has done a wonderful job and continues to keep getting better every day. He comes in at a pretty good point because he's a very talented goalie and an extremely coachable young man. Matt Martinez was the clear front runner coming in based on his experience, coming back as a junior this year, and he didn't have a lot of game experience, but he's been a guy that's been in our system for the last couple of years, understands our defense, understands our clears, and I would imagine came into this preseason with a little bit more confidence than our freshman. Our guys are going to be excited to play a team like Syracuse and all that they bring, and having them in Ithaca as a night game Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, it provides a wonderful environment for the sport of lacrosse and for Cornell lacrosse. Having lost to them last year twice, and especially the way we did in the national championship game, we don't need any extra motivation to play a team like that. I think you go into every game obviously with the mentality that you need to win it in our league, and I think the way that our league had no conference tournament, the way it was set up in previous years, that's what it was. It was like you're not winning our league if you have 2 or 3 losses. You either have 1 loss or no losses in the last 5 or 6 years, or you weren't winning the tournament. Nowadays, if you lose 1, you're still very much in contention. If you lose 2, you're still very much in contention. In the playoffs, it's just we had the experience last year of playing Princeton. It was the first time we had ever played an Ivy League team twice, and I can tell you from experience, it's a challenge. And so hopefully it'll be a win-win for all of us for the opportunity to have both the regular season of competitive games and a league tournament, which will only provide for the best competition.